Super excited about the new year. And today, if you guys can handle it, and if you can handle it, say me. If you guys can handle it, we're going to talk about the brutal truth about why your business is missing revenue. And I wanted to come on and have this conversation because one thing that I'm doing right now, hey Tammy, hey Sheila, hey guys, hey Cynthia, hey Jim, Heroin, Michelle. One thing I'm doing right now is an honest business assessment with myself. And I'm saying for where I am right now, what is it going to take for me to get to where I want to be? And in order for you to ask yourself that, you have to first of all say to yourself, I'm not happy where I am and I could do better. How many of you are going to say that? How many of you can say, I'm not happy with my revenue. I'm not happy with where I am now. I know I can do better in my business. I know I should be earning more money. I know I should be living a better life. So the first thing is acknowledgement. We talked about that yesterday. And now the second thing is an assessment. You have to be able to tell yourself the truth about why you're not where you feel like you should be. And here's some of the reasons. And it's 8 of them. And again, I'm going to be brutally honest about these 8 reasons. But you've got to say to yourself, once I've been brutally honest with you about the 8 reasons, you got to say to yourself that I'm going to do whatever I can to fix those 8 reasons, right? Because knowledge is power, but only if you use the power. I'm going to repeat that again. Knowledge is power only if you use the power. So don't forget, guys, we're giving away a free copy of Design Your Man. Make sure you share the broadcast and put in #shared. And we'll let you know on Friday who the winners were this week so we can ship the books out to you. But, you should be sharing whether we give you a prize or not, because the same way you came here, the same way somebody else needs to come here. So 8 reasons why your business is not as profitable as it should be, which number 1, hey Chanel, hey Linda, number 1 is that you have not stopped. You have not stopped to tell yourself the truth about what you really need to go to the next level. Good morning, Powerhouse. You've run this same business year after year, month over month, week over week, day over day. You're not making the level of profit that you look around and see other people making. Hey, Charles. And instead of you stopping, good morning, Life Giving Slayer, and saying there's something that I need to do different, you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. What's that the definition of? Can somebody tell me? What is that the definition of? Instead of you stopping and saying, wait a minute. Something is rotten in Denmark. And unless I stop and actually address what the problem is, thank you, Cynthia and Sherlyn, for sharing the video. I'm going to stay in this place. That is the definition of insanity. You go to work every day. You don't like your job, but yet you keep doing it. You're running a business that's not making money. You're not happy, but yet you keep doing it. You're in a relationship that you don't like. You're in a home situation that you don't like. You drive a car you hate. But instead of you taking the time to sit still and say, I've got to do something different. What does different look like? You stay on that hamster wheel. Thank you, D. McFarm. You stay on that hamster wheel and you run, although you're going nowhere. And at some point, you got to say to yourself that I am crazy. I am crazy if I don't get off this hamster wheel, stop running, and change my life. That's number 1. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, ouch. We haven't even gotten there yet. Catch it up, baby. We haven't even gotten to number 8 yet. And some of y'all are already wrapping up your wounds. Because you know it and I know it. I know it because it was me. I know it because it was me that spent 16 years at a job that didn't value me, at a job that didn't pay me my worth, at a job where I was training people that weren't as smart as me, at a job that I was barely making ends meet, even though I was making six figures, at a job that, as an individual, I was borderline in a hostile work environment, in a job where there was favoritism, in a job where I would never be number one, even when the number said that I was number one. I stayed in that environment for too long. And the reason I stayed is because I never stopped for long enough to say, I don't like what's going on and I need to do something different. So some of you look at your neighbor right now and say, stop. Because if what you're doing is not working, when are you going to do something different? I have spent the majority of the last few weeks on the phone with people who can make a difference in my business. I didn't say to myself, well, I can't afford to get help. I said, I can't afford not to. How many of you cannot afford not to get? Yeah, you stay too long hoping for change, but hope is not a good thing. Wish is not a good thing. If you want change, you have to bring about change. So look at your neighbor and say, stop. Stop long enough to do an assessment. Hey, Felicia Day. Hey, Liberta, of your life, to see what it is that you like and what it is that you don't like about your life. And then be committed to do something about it. Number 2, you don't have the connections that you need to change your life. Do you know what I realized? I knew that I needed the right Facebook ads person. But because I was in my same circle, y'all are gonna hear me in a minute. But because I wouldn't move outside of my same circle, I couldn't find what I was looking for. In order for me to find what I was looking for, I had to be willing to go on a trip. Look at your neighbor and say, wow, in order for me to find, I knew exactly who I needed. I knew exactly what I needed. But until I went on the trip to find somebody who was outside of my current connections, I was going to stay stuck. Some of you don't have the connections that you need. And some of you are in a circle and you're not even connecting with everybody in the circle. Look at your neighbor and say, wow, some of you are in classes with people. You don't know who you're in class with. Some of you are in workshops with people. You don't know. Some of you are right next to the person you need and you don't know them. There's not a day that goes by that I am not intentional about growing my circle full of people that, and now let me tell you the shame part. Look at your neighbor and say shame. Some of you are right in the circle with people that you know and that people that you need, and you won't invest to get that help. Hey, Dana, look at your neighbor and say, wow, some of you are right in the circle. And the person that's been assigned to help you is right there. But you won't invest the money, the time, or the energy to connect with that person in order to grow your revenue. And for that, you should be ashamed. You're enrolled in a class, but you don't show up and ask questions every week. Shame. You say you can't afford a class, but you won't read a book. Shame. You have access to Google and Bing and all of these other search engines. So if you really wanted an answer and some help, you could go find it for free, but you won't even do that. Shame. Instead, you sit up and pay lip service till you want 7 figures when you really don't. Because if you wanted 7 figures, you would go on the journey. Some of you will sit in class, get my advice, and not execute it. Shame. That's number 2. So number 3, you don't know. You haven't stopped to assess what's keeping you broke. Number 2, you're not willing to leverage connect. Let me tell you something. If you're interested, you can text 100 best 2018 to 77948. We're looking for the 100 best resources, life resources and business resources, whether it's resume writing, whether it's life of fitness coaching, whether it's real estate agents, whether it's business coaches, web designers, graphic designers. We're looking for the 100 best life resources and the 100 best business resources. And I am going to connect with those individuals to do a series of events all over the country. Why am I connecting with those individuals? Because I want to be able to offer my audience not just a 7-figure business, but a 7-figure lifestyle. And I told you, our motto for this year is, yes, you can have it all. But in order to have it all, you've got to get some help. In order to have it all, you've got to get some help. So if you're interested in being one of my 100 best life or 100 best in business, there's going to be a list. There's going to be a resource guide. There's going to be a book published, and you're going to get an opportunity to speak in different cities. Make sure you text 100, the number 100, 100, best 2018 to 77948. Hey, Judge. Hey, Myra, because this is all about giving you the connections that you need to live a better life. So number 1, you haven't stopped to assess. And number 2, once you stop to assess, where are you going to go get these things? Number 3. Everybody ready for number 3? Let me see a 3. If you haven't shared the video, make sure you share the video. #shared to win a copy of my book, Design Your Man. Some of y'all know y'all need a man. I be seeing you. If you're ready for number 3, let me see a 3. If you're ready for number 3, let me see a 3. These are the reasons you're not making the level of money you should be making. Number 3, you're really not. You're really not. You're really not. I told y'all this is going to be a brutally honest conversation. Because as future millionaires, right? If we can't be brutally honest, what's the point? What is the point? Right? Number 3 is you're not really ready and willing to do whatever it takes to get to 7 figures. Now, I don't mean anything unorthodox. I don't mean anything illegal. I don't mean anything immoral. Everything else is on the table. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to generate 7 figures? If you are, say me. Well, I can call some people a liar. Because, see, if you were, you would have done it already. Fool, I had to cater. I had to bake brownies and cakes. No, you're not really willing. You're not really willing. See, don't lie. Don't lie. Because if you're really willing, there's no amount of money that could stop you from making the right investments, time, energy, effort, and everything else to get there. So don't lie. Look at your neighbor and say, don't lie. Because if you really were willing, you wouldn't say, Coach, I can't afford for you to build a website for me. I can't afford for you to not build my social media for me. I can't afford $12,000. I can't afford your $25,000 social media makeover. If you were really willing to do whatever it takes, money, time, or energy wouldn't be an object. I've had to do whatever it took. Was not always fun. I've had to make a lot of sacrifices. I've had to do a lot of things that I did not want to do. I've had to fight fear. I've had to fight procrastination. I've had to fight perfection. I've had to fight what people said about me. And I've had to fight what people felt about me. When I say, are you willing to do? Who is that? Oh, Rosemary, I'm online, baby. You got... I'm like, who is that making all that noise? She don't know. Miss Rosemary, you can't make all that noise. When I say, are you willing to do whatever it takes? You know what, Lola, let me tell you something. You can say, I know you don't mean no disrespect. When you say that kind of money don't come easy, you're talking to somebody who raised 3 kids in private school. So when my kids were going to school, it was about $10,000 for each one of them a year. Let me run it down to you. And this was 15 years ago. 3 kids at about $27,000 a year. I only made $24,000 a year at that time. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. Where did the rest come from? See, when I talk to you about money, I'm not talking to you about money from a perspective of somebody who's always had money. I'm speaking to you from a perspective of somebody who's had to go out and get and go out and cover the gaps of what my kids did not have, but what they deserved. So if I had to pay $27,000 a year for them to go to school, listen to me, and I only made 24, the rest came from gift baskets, which I sold on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. The rest came from catering, which I catered a lot of weddings, May through July. The rest came from cakes and baked goods, which is what I did October through December and January. But I did whatever. See, when you say, are you willing to do whatever it takes? I ran errands for people. I loaned people money with interest rates. I did whatever it took to cover my gaps. So I'm not saying that everybody has that hustle or that mindset, but I'm saying you live in a free commerce society. And what that means is when you wake up in the morning, you have no limits as to how much money you can make. And nowadays, you ain't even got to leave your house. You can, or you got stuff like Uber and Lyft. Come on now. And Dana makes a good point. Everything is return on investment. Dana said, I paid Coach about $2,500 last year. I did what she said and made $100,000. So think of how much you can make if you invest $12,000. She said, I paid her. I made $100,000 out for $2,500, but you can't get what you don't put into. And then where it go, no, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes is whatever it takes, guys. And it's not always easy, which is why everybody, as much as I want everybody to make it to 6 and 7 figures, I can't do the work for you. I cannot do the work for you. Dana said, and I'm paying it again. And that's the truth of the matter. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? There are some people who pay and don't do the work. And then they wonder why their businesses don't grow. You got to be willing to do whatever it takes. If that means cutting out TV, if that means limiting your date nights, if that means connecting with people that you don't know, if that means doing things that are uncomfortable, that's whatever it takes. If it means sacrificing, that's whatever it takes. Number 4. The number 4 reason that you don't have the money that you say you want is your emotions. You allow fear to dominate your life. Look at your neighbor and say, ouch. You allow fear, procrastination, what other people think about you, the spirit of perfection. You allow all of that to dominate your life. Good morning, Casey. I can't do it. I can't do it. You have to reprioritize your fear. You have to be more afraid of being broke. And if you haven't shared the video, make sure you share the video. Paula, inbox me. I can help you. You got to be more afraid of being broke than you are of the alternative. You have to be so laser focused. Y'all don't hear me. You have to be so driven. You got to know your why. Why do I do this? Because I refuse to allow my family to live any other way when I know there's an alternative. What's your why? Because you sick of working a job. Because you want to retire your mother. That's what I did. You know what my why was? You know what my big why was? I refused to send my children to college and let them leave college with hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, when I know it's a whole big world out here that will allow me to pay for their tuition. When I know there's a whole big world out here that will allow me to pay for their rent. When I know it's a whole big world out here that will allow me to retire my mama. My mama ain't worked in 2 years. You know why my mama ain't worked in 2 years? My mama worked all her life. When I think about how hard my mama worked to raise me, it almost brings me to tears. See, I was born in a little bitty town. We didn't have nothing. And everything that I wanted had to come off the sweat of my mama's brow. She wasn't getting paid child support. Anything I needed had to come off of the sweat of my mama's brow. So as soon as I was able, hey Trinette, as soon as I was able, my mama was driving an hour and 15 minutes each way to work. My mama was driving an hour and 15 minutes. If you live in Houston, you know what the traffic looks like. So my mama was in traffic 3 hours a day. One of the best days of my life. After my grandma passed, my mama had been off work for about 2 months. And I told my mama, you really ain't got to go back. And she calls me daughter. She said, daughter, who's going to pay my bills? And I said, I will. And I can. And I have. So when my mom got sick in August, a lot of you know my mom is in the hospital. She's been in and out of the hospital for about 4 months now. And the first time she went in the hospital, she had pneumonia really bad. We had sent her back and forth to the doctor. The doctor didn't diagnose it. And we didn't know if she was going to make it. And I'm an only child. And my father passed away a long time ago. All I have is my mama. And I had to sit next to her bedside. And all of you are going to have to ask yourself this one day. I had to ask myself, had I been a good child? You're going to have to ask yourself this one day. Have you been a good mother? Have you been a good wife? Have you been a good child? And I could unequivocally say to myself, that yes, I not only retired my mama off her job. You know what I bought my mother for Mother's Day? A brand new car. My mom has never, man, I'm not going to take it back. The last car she had, I bought her. It was new, but we had to make payments on it. My mom has never had a brand new car that she didn't have to pay for. So guess what? For Mother's Day, we took her outside and she said, "Whose car is that?" And I said, "Mama, it's your car. It's not the bank's car. It ain't the finance company's car. It ain't the dealership's car. It ain't the insurance company's car. That's your car. That's your car. Bought and paid for and in your name. And in your name. Why? Because God gives us all gifts. And when you redeem your gifts and help the world, you can help yourself. When you redeem the talents and the ideas and the gifts that God gave you, and stop being afraid of what the world's going to say and what the world's going to do, when you redeem your greatness, you can not only bless your mother and your children, but you can bless yourself. We all make withdrawals from the same bank account. He said, "I am no respecter person." So what he can do for Oprah, he can and will do for you. Will you let him? Will you let him? Will you let him free you from a job? You have the skills to free yourself from a job. Somebody say amen. You have the talents. You have the talents to free yourself from a job. You have the talents to retire your parents and take care of them into their old age. You have the money to leave your children with more than you had to start with. But will you do it? That goes back to that whatever it takes. That goes back to that whatever it takes. I refuse to make my children start with nothing. We're notorious for that. We're notorious for that. We allow our children to start over every generation. I'm not going to do it. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You got to ask yourself, are you? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? And that's a lot. And that includes managing your emotions. Some of you are still at a job simply because you refuse to fight fear. You allow fear to send you to a job that you hate. You allow fear to keep you employed at a job that doesn't pay you much. You allow fear to keep you from executing in your business. You allow fear to keep you from raising your prices. And instead of getting you some help to fight that and to combat that, you stay on that hamster wheel. You keep running and doing the things that you know do not work. My God. So we're talking today the brutal truth about why, let me tell you, Chanel, even if you don't know what to do, you know that what you're doing. Even if you don't know what to do. I'm going to give y'all this. So at the end of the year, I did a business assessment. I said I want to multiply my revenue by 5 this year. What do I need to multiply my revenue? 3 of the things that I needed, I don't know how to do. But do you know what I did? I went and found. Hello? See, I'm going to tell y'all about this book I like to read called The Bible. Y'all read that book? Anybody read that book? The Bible, they say it's the only book for me. Anybody read that book? If you read that book, say me. Right? Wait a minute now. If you read the Bible, say me. So, based on what the Bible says, right? It says you have not because you ask not. But it said knock and the door be open. It says seek and you will find. So when I did that business assessment and it showed me what I needed, I went on a mission to find the things that I did not have. So even though I did not know how to do them, I went on. See, I know God created a whole lot of people. And the things that I am not good at, I don't even try to learn them. I go look for the people who can free me. I go look for the people that can do the things I don't know how to do. I go look for the answers to my questions. So the fact that I don't know does not deny me my success. Can I tell y'all a quick story? If it's okay, just say okay. I want to tell you a quick story about intellect. Because believe it or not, intelligence is not on the list of attributes for millionaires. Rakeem said, what about asking and praying but nothing happens? And hell is still breaking loose in your life. You need to look at your circle and you need to look at yourself. You need to look at your circle and you need to look at yourself. What are you not doing differently? Your answer is there. Until I started to move differently, hell was still breaking loose in my life too. But I'm going to tell you a quick story about going on a journey. Anybody know who Henry Ford is? Tiffany said, take your time, coach. If you know who Henry Ford is, say me. Hey, Black Betty Boo. Anybody know who anybody ever even heard of Henry Ford? One of my favorite stories. Because the people say Henry Ford wasn't that smart. That's what the people said about him. They say Henry Ford, he was not that smart. They say he was very good mechanically. But intellectually, he just wasn't that smart. And they got to the point where they was talking about old Henry Ford. Talking noise about him. I mean, you know how they was back then. Just boisterous. Telling folks that Henry just wasn't that smart. Henry got tired of it, y'all. They even put an ad in the New York Times talking about Henry Ford. He just ain't that smart, y'all. So Henry Ford took him to court for defamation of character. Anybody know what that is? When your character has been defamed. Now, the definition of defamation of character is you've got to prove it. You got to prove Henry ain't smart. So they got old Henry on the stand. And they started asking him questions as if to prove his intellect. And of course, Henry didn't know the answers. But when the prosecution got finished, Henry said, can I ask you a question? How many people do you employ? Because for every question you ask me, I employ the world's preeminent expert in that field. So while I don't know the answer, I have people on my payroll that do. Wait a minute now. I don't think y'all heard me. It's in Think and Grow Rich. Now, I don't know much about email marketing. And that's why I hired Kiara Solomon, because she's the expert. I don't know much about web development, but that's why I hired Vanessa Collins, because she's the expert. See, for everything that I don't know about, that's why I just hired somebody to run me a LinkedIn campaign. That's why I just hired somebody this morning to run my Facebook ads campaign. You see, I'm the greatest when it comes to showing you how to make more money. But that other stuff, not too good at it. But I tell you what I am good at. I'm a good judge of character. I'm not an expert at taxes for businesses, but that's why we got Felicia Day. I'm not an expert at credit, but that's why I hired Adon. See, it's not a thing that I need in my life that I don't go and hire someone to do because they're good at it. I don't know about real estate investing, but I plan on buying 50 properties this year. That's why we got Chiquita Lindsay. You see, an expert hires an expert. I'm not an expert at live events, but that's why I'm friends with Shelly Rice. An expert will hire. Chanel, you got to have money to hire. If you can't get out here in this free commerce society, I just told you guys what all I've had to do to get here. How many jobs I had to have. At one point, I had 3 jobs. I had a Monday through Friday, 6 to 3. I had a Monday through Friday, 4 to 11. And I had a Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 5. How many of you have ever carried 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job? See, I told you how many weddings I had to cater. Money ain't nothing but a number. Money ain't nothing but a number. I told you how many cakes I had to bake. How many brownies and cookies I had to bake. How many bottles of water I had to sell. I'm unstoppable. See, you have to claim your level in life. See, but I learned jobs ain't always the answer. That's why I started going out here and trading my gifts and talents for money. Because a job can only pay you so much. I can earn as much as I can earn. So bottom line, I didn't get to 7 figures overnight. But I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. And what I had to do was I had to do whatever it took. Y'all got it easy nowadays. You can drive Uber and Lyft, and you ain't even got to get out your car. I used to have to walk 3-4 miles a night because I got off work after the bus stopped running. So until you change your mindset about how available money really is, you'll always say, I don't have enough money to invest. I needed to make a $12,500 investment in my business the other day. You know what I said to myself? I'm going to go find me a new client that's going to pay me $12,500. I paid the $12,500, invested in my business, and the very next day, I found a brand new client that paid me $12,500. What do you believe in God for? Because I can't believe for you and me. Can I get an amen on that? What are you believing God for? What are you asking God for when you wake up in the morning? Because I can't believe for you and me. It's a lot of stuff I can do. It's a lot of stuff I can do. But I can't believe for me and you. We write checks out the same bank account. Because you asked for 100 and I asked for $1 million. Don't be mad at me. Because you asked for 100 and I asked for 6 million. Don't be mad at me. Happy New Year, Chantel. We write checks. We all got handed the same level of gifts and talents because I work to build mine and you don't be mad at me. I'm being honest with you. You see, you forget that the same skills and talents that them jobs pay you pennies on the dollar for, you could come right out in the world and build your next level. But you scared, huh? Don't be mad at me because I'm conquering my fear on a daily basis. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not nervous. It does not stop me from moving. There's not a day that goes by that I don't doubt where I'm about to go. But it don't stop me from moving. So if your fear holds you paralyzed, that's your problem. That's not my problem. I'm just saying. And Lola Black, you're right. More often than not, most people have the money. They're just spending it on the wrong stuff. They said the average person spends more money eating out than they spend buying groceries. You got the money. Maybe that just means you ain't going to have a brand new car or an outfit to go out with next week. Or maybe you can't afford to go to Papados for... Most people got the money, boo. They refuse to use it for their next level. They say to they stuff like, I don't need a coach. You don't need a coach. That's why you keep making the same amount of money. And while I'm steady kicking the door in, earning more and more, day over day, week over week, month over month, year over year, you still sitting over there trying to figure it out. You tell them, Dana, you'll get your hair done, though. I'll be seeing you. You'll get your nails done, though, huh? Look at my nails. Why my nails ain't done? Because I just spent $12,500 for a LinkedIn marketing plan. Now, ask me how much that $12,500 is going to make me on LinkedIn. A minimum of $1.2 million. That's the low numbers. So, yeah, you'll go get it when you get tired of being where you are. I'm just being honest. When are you going to be ready to do whatever it takes? Then number 4, Born Stunner Flow said, you speaking to me when you said too much money on fast food. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Then number 4, conquering your emotions. And then number 5, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You said I asked about getting education classes going. You didn't really respond. That's because I don't answer business questions for free. So let me give you this. So you asked me about getting education classes going. If I answer you for free, that means that when you start your education classes, you're going to let people come for free, right? No, you're not. You're not. You're not. Is everybody following what I'm saying? See, we got a bad habit of wanting people to invest in us. And then what's going to happen when it's time for you to go make money? It takes money to make money. Now, if you want to set up a call with me and my team and we can talk about how much it's going to cost to help you get that built, I have no problem with that. Right? But the bottom line is we got to have a conversation. You can inbox me on Facebook, Tony. We got to have a conversation. And let me tell you something. The person that I hired this morning, I went and found them. I pursued them. I made sure I got them. You got to know what you want and you got to know what you need. And if I asked somebody that I felt would be a critical step in my next level, if I had to call them, text them, email them, smoke signal them, send a carrier pigeon, send a stagecoach, ride by their house, be like on Friday, don't ever come by here. Whatever I had to do to employ that person that I know I need for my next step, baby, I'm going to do it. That's what I'm going to do. That's what can I get an amen on that? When I talk about unstoppable, that's what I mean. Yes. That's what I mean. You can't keep watching me day after day. I'm international. Somebody say, where are you located? I'm right here. Where you at? You right there? Tiffany says she followed me all the way to Atlanta to get me. Hello? You don't know what you don't know. But you know there's a reason that you don't have the money that everybody else does. Do you agree? If you agree, say me. You don't know what you don't know. But you know there is a reason that you don't have the money that everybody else has. And this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm not coming to every city this year. I'm going to be about 10, 15 cities. So what you're going to have to do, if you really want me, you may have to travel over a couple of cities. I'm not coming to everybody's house. Sorry. Unless everybody fry a mean chicken leg. Hello? That goes back to that, whatever it takes. Shelly says she had on her speaker so loud that her mama said, is that Don? And she said, you tell him, Danielle. And then tell mama, say, I love that girl. That is too funny. But you got to get over your emotions. And you got to go face to face with the fact that you don't know what you don't know. Number 6. Most of you have not yet identified who your real client is. You want to know why? If you knew who your real client was, your real client will pay you what you're worth. Somebody say, wow. See, it's some of y'all right now, you call me coach, but I'm not really your coach because you ain't invested to get my strategies. And some of you that I'm just now meeting are willing to invest whatever it takes to call me coach. Falasha Day will invest whatever it takes to call me coach. Chiquita will invest whatever it takes to call me coach. Shalonda, Dana, they invest whatever, Tiffany, whatever it takes to call me coach. Some of you show up every day and you call me coach, but you don't invest to get behind the scenes to see why Chiquita got $250,000 to $500,000 worth of real estate property a year after leaving her job. You won't invest to find that out. You just call me coach. Period. See the difference? See the difference? And you keep seeing me make more and more. And more and more. And more and more. But you still won't invest. Chill, Alex, you need to inbox me. We need to have a conversation about your business. So until, right, everybody call me coach, got the kids calling me coach, and you ain't spent $1 yet. But it's okay. Money is more of a mindset process than it is an energy process. It's not about making money. It's not about what you can do with your hands. Making money is about what can you do with your mind. Can you make your mind mind? Some of y'all gonna catch that later tonight in bed and you're gonna laugh. See, money is not about what you can do with your hands. There is no such thing as a set amount of money for anything. Matter of fact, I saw 2 Chainz and what's his name, Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. They were eating some chicken wings that cost $20,000. Have you ever heard of a $20,000 chicken wing? So you can charge whatever amount of money for anything. It has nothing to do with what you're offering in your hand. Can you make your mind? Does your mind know your value? And until you can put a price point on your value, you're going to struggle financially. And a lot of you are running around serving the wrong client. Pamela, it ain't no chicken that good in the world, but people be buying it. I be seeing them. Girl, but them chicken wings was hot, but you gotta know your value. And you gotta know who your real client is. And you gotta know how much you're worth to your real client. See, one thing that I'm resolving, and it kind of hurt my feelings, but kind of not. I needed to know the truth. And the truth is, not everybody watching me is going to hire me. And not everybody watching me is going to change their life. And not everybody watching me is going to understand the value that they have on their life. And that used to hurt my feelings because I used to think that, oh, if you could just watch me and let me explain to them that they can generate 6 and 7 figures and they're going to be motivated. But at the end of the day, if people don't want, and I don't mean wish, I mean want to change with every being, with every core of their being, with every ounce of their mind and spirit. If you don't want it more than you want to breathe tomorrow, if you don't want change, I can't want it for you. And that's a new realization for me. That all the strategy in the world cannot help you if you don't really want it. You gotta want it. And number 2, you've got to believe that God can make it happen for you. And if you don't, I can't believe it for you. Tell Faith I'm on the phone. I just can't believe it for you. I'm sorry. I used to think that my energy would be enough to get people up. And I used to think that my energy and my motivation would be enough to save people. And I had to realize that it's not. You gotta want it as much as I want it for you. Which brings me to number 7. Why your money is funny. Stop watching and listening to the wrong people. I had to inbox one of my clients today and let them know that if they had questions, make sure they ask me in class. Because if you get help from somebody sitting next to you, that's kind of the blind leading the blind, don't you think? See, a lot of people have opinions, but not everybody has knowledge. So be careful who you listening to and who you watching. Because watching and listening to the wrong people will lead you down the wrong path. You got single people giving you marital advice. You got fat people giving you weight loss advice. You got dumb people giving you knowledge. You got broke people giving you monetary advice. And you got people that work jobs teaching you how to quit yours. And at no point along the way do you stop and say, what qualifies you to speak over my life? All advice ain't good advice. Somebody, that's like we all in the slave ship. And somebody inside the ship trying to give you feedback on how to escape. Now, wait a minute. That should have really hit everybody in the head. We all on the slave ship. And you got somebody next to you. You good, Pamela? You got somebody next to you trying to explain to you how you need to escape. Well, if it works so well, sir, why you sitting next to me? Why you ain't... That's the side eye for real, Tiffany. If it works so well, why you ain't tried it? Be careful. All advice ain't good advice. Stop taking advice, even if it's free, from people and Motivation Magic. That's why I'm on here, because I make money. See, you got to watch out for them naysayers. It's the bottom line. They'll tell you don't do this and don't do that. And they coaching from the broke front seat. Be careful who you're watching and who you listen to. And my clients will tell you every strategy that I give them to do, I'm doing it myself. And I'm making money with it. I'm not telling them no hypothesis. I'm not making no educated guesses. Everything that I tell them to do, they see me turn right around and do it and make money with it. If you ain't got money, stop talking to me about money. If you're not thin, stop talking to me about weight loss. If you're not smart, stop talking to me about education. If you don't read as many books as I read, please stop talking to me. I asked the other day for a referral for someone that does Facebook ads. And people was referring people to me that don't have as many followers as I have. Now, wait a minute. Look at your neighbor and say, wait a minute. I've got 150,000 followers on social media. If I'm looking for somebody that does Facebook ads, and I have about 50,000 of them, just inbox me, Keisha. And yep, Dina, I can help you with almost any business, baby. What works, works. And I had about 50,000 of them on Facebook. And I look at you and you ain't got but 5,000 on Facebook. How can you help me? Wait a minute. How can you help me? And guys, I do have an upcoming telesummit called Yes, You Can Have It All, which is about not just the money, but the lifestyle, having the balance. If you text Yes You 2018 to 77948, you'll get that information, and you'll get information on how to work with me as well on that telesummit. Text Yes You, all one word, 2018 to 77948 to be invited to the telesummit and get information on how to work with me as well. But the bottom line is, you can't keep listening to people that don't have a track record for success. You can't. You got to stop. Guys, I want you to really go back. If you didn't catch all of this, go back and watch 7 Reasons. You know, Rose, it is about the followers. Let me tell you, Rose said it's not about the followers. It's about the influence. It's about both. I have the followers and I have the influence. If you have the influence, why can't you influence people to follow you? Right? You say it's not about the followers, it's about the influence. But if you have influence, why can't you influence people to follow you? See, everything is a numbers game. You'll be fooling yourself if you say it's not. Because there's a direct correlation in your number of followers and how much revenue you're going to generate. What's the conversion rate with your followers? Look at the numbers. Women lie. Men lie. Numbers don't lie. You go to the bank You go to the bank and numbers are always going to tell you the truth. Regardless as to what you do, there's always a numbers game. You get more people at your event, more people are going to have, what if they don't have social media? Who doesn't? Who are the rare few people that don't have any type? So are you marketing to cavemen? Who are you marketing to? I'd be interested to know. Because see, even if your target doesn't have social media, their kids have social media. Everybody is connected to somebody on social media. So even if you have a program for grandmas, they grandchildren on social media. I'm just being honest with you. That's the beauty of marketing. I sure will, Johanna. Thank you. Yeah. No, Tedra. So if you asked, you had to ask for a reason. And so that's why I ask in this season that we be deliberate. If the question doesn't apply to you, why ask? So now you got me thinking, who ain't got social media? Somebody with access to somebody has social media. And if they don't, then maybe you do a grassroots campaign. Maybe I'm not for you. But I can tell you, not only now, it's YesU 2018 2018. Text YesU 2018 to 77948. Because many people you work with don't have it. Are the people you work with your target? You know what I found out when I left my job? A lot of people that said they don't have social media, they just don't invite people to like their stuff. They either have it under another name, or they don't invite their coworkers because they don't want their coworkers to see what they're doing. Or they had it under their husband's name. But the majority of people have... See, when you build a business, you don't build a business for the anomalies. 7.5 billion people on the planet. Over half of them have access to Facebook. So the bottom line is, I'm not going to build my business for the 5 people that are not on Facebook. I'm going to build my business for the 4 billion people that are. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Hey, Benita, I'm not going to build my business for the 10 or 12 people that's too busy to be on Facebook. I'm going to build my business for what they say they got 2.3 million log-ons a day. I'm building my business for the 2.3 million people that are. And the numbers are going to only keep growing. Just saying. Yay, Nikedra. Woohoo. Come on, girl. I'm just saying. So you gotta think to yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? And you know what, Tony? You're absolutely right. Tony said, and word of mouth is still powerful. Do you know how many people are not on social media that still know my name because they know somebody on social media? Hey, Tanya, I'm just being honest with you guys. Stop making excuses for why you don't have, and let's start making a plan on how to get it. All right? Guys, don't forget to text YesU 2018 to 77948 for more information about the Yes You Can Have It All Telesummit. But, guys, I'm ready. I'm ready to do what I came to do this year. And I'm ready to do it with the people who are ready. So I hope that includes you. Coach